Hi, my name is Olivia Zagata, and I will be presenting about the Prague floods of 2002. So in August 2002, the Czech Republic experienced its largest flood to date. I chose Prague because I recently found out I have some Czech in my bloodline, and since I've never really learned anything about the country, I thought that this was a good opportunity to kind of read up on it. This was a very devastating flood in the history of the Czech Republic. Many buildings were submerged and destroyed as a result of it, and an estimated 40,000 people had to be evacuated from their homes for their own safety. Workers at the zoo were taking animals to higher ground in an attempt to save them, and fortunately, because of the strict evacuation orders that occurred, not too many lives were lost, although 17 people did die due to the flooding. Sorry. The tectonic setting of this area is as follows. The plate boundary that Prague is located on is the Eurasian plate, which is one of the largest on Earth. It includes all of Europe and Asia. The Eurasian plate has divergent boundaries to the west/northwest, which occurs when two plates pull away from each other. An example is the Eurasian plate separates from the North American plate, creating the Mid-Atlantic Ridge. The Eurasian plate also has convergent boundaries to the east/southeast, meaning it has two plates that come together. An example of this one is the collision of the India plate with the Eurasian plate, which creates the Himalaya Mountains. Oh, sorry. The geologic setting. The flooding occurred due to runoff from two major rivers in Prague, the Vltava River and the Burunka River. The Vltava River is the longest river in the Czech Republic, being 430.3 kilometers or 267.4 miles long. It drains an area of 28,090 square kilometers or 10,850 square miles in size. The Burunka River, on the other hand, is the second biggest river, being 138.2 kilometers or 85.9 miles long and draining an area of 8,708 square kilometers or 3,362 square miles. Since it runs throughout Prague, a total of 18 bridges have been built across the Vltava River, the most famous being the Charles Bridge. The Vltava River has been flooded multiple times in history, the most notable being in 1784, 1845, 1890, 1940, and again in 2013. During the 1784 flooding, the water levels rose to an astonishing 4 meters in only 12 hours. This flood destroyed 5 pillars on the famous Charles Bridge, but somehow did not completely destroy it. The flood of 1890 was also quite devastating and resulted in the destruction of 3 arches from the Charles Bridge. It took 14 years to reconstruct the bridge and open it to the public once more. Although the flood of 2002 was the strongest and most destructive, the flood occurring in 2013 also caused a lot of damage. 4 people were reported dead and 5 reported missing following the flooding incident, and there ended up being a huge cost of repairs for the damages. What caused this? The floods occurred as a result of 2 heavy periods of rainfall. The first period of rain took place on August 6th and 7th, where it rained around southwestern Czech Republic and northeastern Austria. There was an average of 125 millimeters or 5 inches of rain from this 2-day period, with up to 255 milliliters, which is about 10 inches, of rain found in certain regions. And there is a map to the left where you can kind of see the various areas of rainfall and how much it was. The second period of rain happened on between August 11th and 13th and was produced by an extratropical system defined as the Genoa cyclone type VB, which had a track from the North Adriatic Sea toward Poland. There was an average of 322 millimeters, which is about 12.5 inches of rain that was produced from this period of rainfall. The reason the Genoa cyclone produced such large amounts of rain was because, 1, it moved at a significantly slower rate than the cyclones that usually occur during the springtime, and 2, the water temperatures in the Adriatic and Mediterranean seas were much warmer during August. These 2 factors resulted in a large amount of atmospheric moisture to advance north from the Adriatic Sea. The intense rainfall that took place between August 11th and 13th was also due to a process where upper level clouds seed lower level clouds over the mountains, which enhances rainfall production. And for those of you who perhaps don't know exactly what seeding means, it essentially is adding ice like particles to clouds, which increases the condensation, and that then continues to build up until it becomes too heavy and falls as rain. Lessons to be learned is that the public perception is often unrealistic about the level of flood risk outside floodplain areas, and recent studies show significant amount of flood damage is due to off floodplain flooding. There will be an increased constraints on floodplain development to minimize damages, seeing how this was a huge flood risk in the first place. And it is also important to divide each country into regions of flood hazard zones to anticipate which areas will endure the most damage, to act accordingly for things such as building dams or floodgates to prevent the water from reaching such high levels in those areas. And then these are my references. And if anyone has any questions, please write them below and I'll be happy to answer them. Thank you.